Right now, your brain is quietly deleting things. That embarrassing moment from third grade mostly gone. The argument you had last Tuesday. Fading, the face of someone you met briefly 5 years ago already erased. Your brain does this automatically, constantly, and completely without your permission. And for most of your life, you have probably wished it would stop. You have probably wished you could remember everything, every detail, every moment, every word someone said to you 10 years ago. Today, we find out what would actually happen if you could, and the answer is one of the most unsettling things science has ever uncovered. First, the good news. A perfect memory would be genuinely extraordinary in some ways. You would never forget where you put your keys. You would never forget a name, a face, a date, or a password. Studying for exams would be almost effortless. Languages would be easy to learn. Skills would stick permanently. You would have access to every single experience you ever had in perfect high-definition detail whenever you wanted it. Sounds incredible, and for about the first week, it probably would be. Then the problems start. There are real humans alive today with a condition called hyperthymesia, the ability to remember almost every single day of their lives in perfect detail. Scientists have studied them extensively, and what they found is not what most people expect. Almost every single person with hyperthymesia describes their condition not as a gift, but as a burden. Because here is what nobody tells you about perfect memory. You cannot choose what you remember. You remember everything equally. The best day of your life and the worst day of your life, stored at exactly the same resolution with exactly the same clarity. Every cruel word anyone ever said to you. Every mistake you ever made, every moment of embarrassment, failure and regret permanently available in perfect detail. Forever. One hyperthymesia. Sufferer described it as being chained to the past. Another said it felt like living with a television that could never be turned off. Here is where it gets scientifically fascinating. Forgetting is not a flaw in your brain. It is a feature. Your brain deliberately erases and compresses memories for very specific reasons. One of the most important is emotional regulation. When you remember a painful event, your brain softens it slightly over time. The emotional charge fades. This is how humans recover from trauma. This is how grief becomes survivable. This is how an argument that felt earth-shattering eventually becomes just a distant memory. Without forgetting, none of that softening happens. Every painful memory stays as sharp and as raw as the moment it occurred. Permanently. Now scale this to an entire civilization. Imagine a world where every human being remembers every war in perfect detail. Every genocide, every atrocity, every personal betrayal, every broken promise. Forgiveness would become almost neurologically impossible because the brain could never soften the memory of what was done. Grudges would be permanent. Generational trauma would be carried with total clarity rather than fading across time. Societies would fracture under the weight of perfect collective memory. Peace treaties between nations would mean almost nothing when every citizen on both sides remembers every specific detail of every specific harm done by the other side. And here is the final piece that makes this truly mind-bending. Creativity depends on forgetting. When you forget the specific details of experiences, your brain is forced to fill in the gaps. This gap filling is where imagination lives, where metaphors come from, where art and music and storytelling emerge. A brain that remembers everything perfectly has no gaps to fill, no need to imagine, no need to create. A world of perfect memory might be a world with no poetry, no fiction, no music born from the blurry, half-remembered feeling of something beautiful you almost understood. The things we forget shape us just as much as the things we remember. Your brain is not broken when it forgets. It is doing exactly what it was designed to do, protecting you from the past, so you can actually live in the present. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to HashCore for more videos.